The situation in Mecca had become increasingly hostile for Prophet Muhammad and his followers. The Quraysh tribe, which opposed his message of monotheism, intensified their persecution. The Muslims faced severe oppression, economic sanctions, and social ostracism. Despite these challenges, the Prophet continued to preach Islam. As the persecution worsened, Allah revealed to him that it was time to leave Mecca and seek refuge elsewhere. During the pilgrimage season, Prophet Muhammad met a group of people from Yathrib, later known as Medina. They had heard of his message and were impressed by his character and teachings. They pledged their allegiance to him in what became known as the Pledge of Aqaba and invited him to Medina to act as a leader and arbitrator among their warring tribes. The Prophet accepted their invitation, and preparations for the migration began. The Hijrah begins. When the Quraysh learned of the Prophet's plan to leave, they conspired to assassinate him. Each clan sent a young warrior to participate in the attack, so the responsibility of his death would be shared, preventing retaliation from his family. However, Allah revealed their plot to the Prophet. He instructed his cousin, Ali ibn Abi Talib, to sleep in his bed to create the illusion that he was still in his house. That night, the Prophet slipped away undetected. Accompanied by his close companion, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, the Prophet embarked on the journey. They first headed south to the Cave of Thor to hide from the Quraysh. The Cave of Thor. The Quraysh sent search parties in all directions. At one point, they came so close to the cave that Abu Bakr whispered in fear, "O Messenger of Allah, if they look down at their feet, they will see us." The Prophet reassured him, saying, "Do not grieve, indeed Allah is with us." Quran 9:40. Miraculously, the Quraysh did not find them. It is said that Allah sent a spider to spin a web across the cave's entrance and a pigeon to nest there, making it appear undisturbed. The journey to Medina. After 3 days in the cave, the Prophet and Abu Bakr resumed their journey. They traveled along less traveled paths to avoid detection. A guide, Abdullah ibn Urayqit, who was skilled in navigating the desert, led them. During the journey they received help from various people. For example, Asma bint Abu Bakr's daughter, secretly brought them food, and a shepherd ensured they had milk. One notable incident involved Suraka ibn Malik, a skilled tracker hired by the Quraysh to capture the Prophet. When he approached them, his horse stumbled repeatedly, and he realized he could not harm them. The Prophet forgave him and even prophesied that Suraka would one day wear the bracelets of the Persian emperor. Arrival in Quba. The Prophet and Abu Bakr first arrived in Quba, a village near Medina, where they were warmly welcomed. The Prophet stayed there for a few days and laid the foundation of Masjid Quba, the first mosque in Islam. Entry into Medina. Finally, the Prophet entered Medina, greeted by jubilant crowds chanting, "Talat al-Badru alayna," the full moon has risen upon us. This marked the beginning of a new chapter for the Muslim community. The people of Medina, known as the Ansar helpers, opened their hearts and homes to the Muhajirin migrants from Mecca. The Prophet established the Constitution of Medina, which created a pluralistic society where Muslims, Jews, and others lived in harmony. Significance of the Hijrah. The Hijrah was not just a physical migration but a spiritual and societal turning point. It marked the beginning of the Islamic calendar and the establishment of a Muslim community based on justice, equality, and devotion to Allah.